Tonight on NewsWatch, the day after the deadly shooting in the nation's capital. A look at the gunman and what comes next.
Plus, floodwaters begin to recede. How Operation Blessing is helping victims in Colorado.
And sick kids becoming superheroes, all because of one woman's efforts to make them feel better. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening. I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. A day after the shooting in the Navy Yard in Washington, officials remembered the victims in a ceremony.
Meanwhile, law enforcement continues to investigate the shooter, Aaron Alexis. Dale Hurd has tonight's top story.
Today at the Navy Memorial in downtown Washington, Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel and other officials paid their respects to the victims of Monday's shooting. Among the 12 who died, 51-year-old Arthur Daniels, a grandfather of 9, and Kenneth Proctor, age 46, who worked for the government for 22 years. Authorities say 34-year-old Aaron Alexis was the sole shooter behind the killings. He was a contractor with access to the Navy Yard and a former Navy reservist who received an honorable discharge. But Alexis had problems, and if the Navy had declared him mentally unfit, Alexis would have lost his security clearance. But he still had that clearance and was able to use a valid pass to get into the Navy Yard, where he killed 12 people with a shotgun and 2 handguns before being gunned down by police. Alexis suffered from paranoia and was hearing voices in his head. He had been undergoing treatment from Veterans Affairs. Meanwhile, the FBI went through the shooter's rental car and visited a nearby residence inn where he'd been staying.
We are looking to learn everything we can about his recent movements, his contacts, and his associates.
The FBI also went to his parents' home in Brooklyn.
Their hearts are going out more to the victims, the people that got hurt, because, there's more lives lost. We don't need that.
Alexis had a history of disturbing behavior. Arrested in 2010 for discharging a firearm into a neighbor's apartment, and in 2004 for shooting out the tires of another man's car. Navy officials have yet to explain why a man with so many serious mental issues still had a top security clearance. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Dan Gaynor is the Vice President of Business and Culture at the Media Research Center, and he joins us now with more. Dan, the media and a few politicians like Dianne Feinstein are already jumping on the gun control bandwagon after yesterday's shooting. Do you think Congress as a whole has any desire to reignite this debate?
Well, I think the House doesn't. I think Democrats do. They see an issue here where the media are really in sync with their positions, so they naturally want to go after it. It's a quick way of scoring points and politicizing a tragedy.
Well, the media also jumped on initial reports that Alexis used an AR-15 rifle in the attack and used that to call for a renewed assault weapons ban. But we've since learned that Alexis did not use an AR-15 at all, but none of those calling for more gun control legislation have acknowledged that. What does that show you about the media's agenda?
Well, the agenda here is not only anti-gun, but anti-particular guns. The journalists just are wildly ignorant about guns. I saw NBC News last night report that the weapon used was an automatic weapon. I'm sorry, I don't think our security guards or our attacker were deploying Uzis or some similar machine gun. The journalists don't know what they're talking about when it comes to guns, and they're reflexively anti, like Mike Lupica, who wrote a whole column bashing the AR-15. Now is he going to write a whole column saying, oops? I doubt it.
Well, some are quick to blame access to guns for this rampage. Why do you think they are not as quick to look at things like violent video games, for example?
Well, the media are also reflexively pro-free speech. Anything that they consider to be free speech, they don't want to limit because they feel like that impinges on their territory.
CNN kept a banner up on their screen for quite some time yesterday, Dan, that said the gunman used an AR-15 shotgun instead of correctly identifying it as a rifle. You've talked a little bit about this already, but let's talk a little bit more. Does that kind of ignorance take away from the media's credibility?
It should. The problem here is the media then will not follow it up. I mean, they also misreported the name. 2 of the 3 major networks reported the name of the shooter as someone else. there's no really accounting for accuracy there. It got written up by Rem Ryder in the USA today. It is a problem that journalists don't care if they're factually accurate about guns because they feel like the people who care about such things are all on the other side of them.
All right, Dan Gaynor of the Media Research Center. Thanks for your time, Dan.
Thank you.
The rains have finally ceased in Colorado. Good news as officials continue to search for the missing from the historic flooding there. Rescue helicopters are back in the air searching for the hundreds of people still unaccounted for. Charlene Israel reports.
The buzz of propellers can be heard over Colorado. 21 helicopters taking advantage of the clear skies to fan out over the mountainsides, looking for those still needing help.
There's about 1,000 residents that are up in the various isolated areas in need of evacuation.
More than 11,000 people have been evacuated and about 19,000 homes damaged or destroyed.
We basically had a waterway through our house.
Local churches in Boulder County are banding together to help victims. Church members are doing everything from cleaning the uniforms of the National Guard crews to cleaning out damaged homes.
It's not even the fact that we're even making a huge dent and shoveling mud out of somebody's basement. It's just that they're not doing it alone. They feel loved. They know that, that these churches aren't here just to use and abuse their city, but they're here to serve their city.
If we want our light to shine the brightest, it's not about somehow amplifying our spiritual wattage, but it's about taking the light of God that we have to darker places. And these kind of tragedies present that unique opportunity for us as the church, as the body of Christ, to carry God's light to the places that are in the most need.
Operation Blessing is working with the churches. OB crews are providing much-needed cleanup supplies, as well as prescriptions, diapers, and baby formula.
It's been so great to have Operation Blessing come to be a part of our community. We just don't have the resources and the wisdom that y'all have. You guys have been in so many different situations and disasters, and this is our first round. So we are so thankful for the wisdom that would come from Operation Blessing and organizations like yours that would bring relief.
Volunteers are also offering emotional and spiritual support through prayer. Charlene Israel, CBN News.
And you can find out more about Operation Blessing and what you can do to help in its relief efforts by visiting our website, cbnnews.com.
In economic news, President Obama says he will not negotiate over the extension of the debt ceiling. That as the U.S. faces another possible government shutdown. The president says Republicans will cause economic chaos if the budget is delayed over Obamacare funding demands.
The problem is, at the moment, Republicans in Congress don't seem to be focused on how to grow the economy and build the middle class.
Leaders want spending cuts, but also say they are willing to negotiate. House GOP leaders hope to make a decision this week on a temporary spending measure to prevent a shutdown. The president's remarks came with the 5th anniversary of the beginning of the financial crisis. And while unemployment has dropped and the housing market is slowly recovering, the income gap between the very rich and the rest of the population is the biggest since 1928.
Bill Frezza is a Boston-based venture capitalist and a fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute and joins us now for more. Bill, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, Bill, we're heading for another debate over the budget. Should Americans be worried that lawmakers aren't coming to an agreement?
Americans should be worried, but whether or not they come to an agreement is probably de minimis because the differences between the two parties are so small that the economic tragedy that awaits us is not going to change a whole lot. Neither party is focusing on the real problem, which is entitlement reform, and they're fighting at the margins right now. It provides a lot of political theater, but it's not going to change the long-term trajectory of the country.
Well, the president is essentially blaming Republicans for not negotiating over the budget. Is that really fair?
Well, the president is the one who said he refused to negotiate over the debt ceiling. The Republicans are willing to negotiate over the budget, although they're taking a hard line. Keep in mind, though, that the differences between the two parties are actually very small. They're only talking about cutting the rate of growth of the federal government by a little bit, and only talking about discretionary spending, and I'm talking about entitlement spending. The real threat to our fiscal policy of the American people is runaway entitlement spending, which is primarily Social Security and Medicare, and neither of those are on the table right now.
Well, Bill, when we saw the sequester debates, there were all these warnings over the dramatic effect the cuts would have. Is this latest budget battle mostly hype, or will it really have an impact?
All of these budget battles are hype. They're only going to have an impact if they fundamentally change the nature of the federal government. And I think that's not being discussed. The country is running open loop right now. It's running on programs that were put in place a long time ago that grow automatically. We've got a generation of baby boomers getting ready to retire who are going to put tremendous demands on the federal government. And meanwhile, we have all sorts of issues at the state, local, and city level with unfunded pension liabilities, and that's the train wreck that's about to happen. Arguing at the margin on discretionary programs is not where the problem is.
Do you see the American economy improving at all?
We are entering a long period of little or no growth, depending on how you measure inflation. The only way to increase our prospect is to get growth back to 4, 5, 6, 7%, which we've done before. That's not going to happen without radical surgery on both our monetary policy and on our regulatory policy. The things that Washington is doing now to suppress economic growth are unprecedented. We haven't seen this since the Depression. And it was Franklin Delano Roosevelt who turned a stock market crash into a 10, 15-year depression. And what we worry about is that being repeated.
All right, the diagnosis appears dire. Bill Frezzo, we thanks so much for your insights. Hopefully, we'll get some good news. Thank you.
Coming up, how CBN disaster relief is helping a village under attack by a rebel Muslim troop.
Grace, music is unpredictable.
I know I have what it takes.
The Dove Foundation raves. Grace Unplugged is remarkable and inspiring.
This is not about the music. It's about everything else that goes with it.
Dad, were you watching me?
A moving and meaningful film.
This book, his words shook me. It was like my whole world.
That parents and teens should see together, says Focus on the Family.
What are you going to do? You're going to drag her back home?
Yeah, I might.
I think maybe you're fighting God. Just stop running.
Grace Unplugged, rated PG, in theaters October 4th.
If you're living with diabetes and have Medicare or private insurance, here is some great news. Call United States Medical Supply today, and we'll send you the smallest glucose meter in the world, absolutely free.
It only takes a speck of blood, and it gives me my results in 5 seconds.
And there's no coding for easier, more accurate results.
Don't let diabetes get in the way of living. Give us a call today at United States Medical Supply and get the smallest meter in the world for free.
Grace, music is unpredictable.
I know I have what it takes.
The Dove Foundation raves. Grace Unplugged is remarkable and inspiring.
This is not about the music. It's about everything else that goes with it.
Dad, were you watching me?
A moving and meaningful film.
This book, his words shook me. It was like my whole world.
That parents and teens should see together, says Focus on the Family.
What are you going to do? You're going to drag her back home?
Yeah, I might.
I think maybe you're fighting God. Just stop running.
Grace Unplugged, rated PG, in theaters October 4th.
If you're living with diabetes and have Medicare or private insurance, here is some great news. Call United States Medical Supply today, and we'll send you the smallest glucose meter in the world, absolutely free.
It only takes a speck of blood, and it gives me my results in 5 seconds.
And there's no coding for easier, more accurate results.
Don't let diabetes get in the way of living. Give us a call today at United States Medical Supply and get the smallest meter in the world for free.
Russia says they're unconvinced the Assad regime is responsible for the deadly chemical weapons attack near Damascus last month. It insists a new Security Council resolution should not allow the use of force in Syria. The U.S., Britain, and France say all of the evidence from the UN report indicates the Assad regime is responsible for that attack. Meanwhile, a car bomb exploded in a rebel-controlled post along the Turkey border, leaving at least 15 people wounded. Rebels are asking for swift international response. France and the U.S. say military action is still on the table.
Egyptian security forces have retaken a town that's been ruled by radical Islamists since early July. The city of Delga in the southern Minya province is home to more than 20,000 Christians. For 11 weeks, the Islamic militants have ruled the city. They ransacked and burned churches and forced Christians to pay them protection money. At least 2 Christians who refused to pay the Islamic jizya tax were killed. One of the churches that was burned is believed to be more than 1,600 years old. Security forces arrested 56 people for assaults on police, as well as attacks on government and religious institutions.
A Catholic priest is being treated at a Tanzanian hospital following an acid attack in Zanzibar. Police say the priest was badly injured. The acid burned areas of his face, chest, thighs, and legs. The attack occurred in a crowded part of town Friday afternoon. This is the 5th acid attack in Zanzibar since November. Just last month, someone threw acid in the faces of 2 young British women doing volunteer work. Police have yet to make an arrest in any of the attacks.
A hostage standoff with Muslim rebels is in its 9th day in the city of Zamboanga. The Moro National Liberation Front today captured the police chief of the Philippine city. He was taken when trying to negotiate with some rebels to surrender. He was later let go unharmed. Nearly 100 rebels are still holding other hostages in the area. A CBN team is in the region helping victims.
A CBN disaster relief team drove 22 hours to Zamboanga City to help feed more than 15,000 evacuees there. Everyone is urged to pray for a peaceful solution to end the fighting, and hopefully this will be soon.
Amen. Nearly 82,000 people have been displaced in the city as a result of that fighting.
Thanks, Lucille. Well, up next, how tiny capes are helping some special kids fight in the face of sickness.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
In 2008, my husband Gary departed for heaven. I was still grieving. And then to find out I had cancer, I began praying, God, how do I do this? Where do I do this? Cancer Treatment Centers of America was the place. Dr. Neelam outlined a plan that would take care of my mind and my body, and she prayed with me.
For Bible-believing Christians, we're able to pray with them in a much deeper way as they begin to really rely upon their faith.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we believe in the power of faith and prayer as indispensable allies in the fight against complex and advanced stage cancer.
I'm back in Telluride on the mountain skiing. I feel strong and healthy.
Advanced medicine and technology.
And I am a survivor.
The warm embrace of the Spirit and the power of prayer.
These are happy tears.
Please go to cancercenter.com/faith. Appointments available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need, just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
When a sick child is battling for life, they need a lot of prayer and all the help and encouragement possible, along with the best medical care and support from family and friends.
Yeah, but now children who are seriously ill have access to another weapon to help fight disease, a superhero cape custom made just for them.
Yeah, in tonight's Focus Report, David Brody tells us about the woman behind this unique approach to helping kids heal.
The Man of Steel.
Watch out, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman 2. Time to step aside. The new superheroes are in town. Meet Super Anthony, Super Remedy, Super Mikey, and there are thousands more like them. Young children across America outfitted with superhero capes as they battle the forces of disease. The force behind this league is Robin Rosenberger, owner of Tiny Superheroes in Seattle. Last year, she made a few capes for fun, and then she sent one to a girl with a severe skin condition. Then a few other sick kids, too. And now, the closet cape is full with requests pouring in from almost everywhere. 1,700 kids around the country wear these capes branded with their first initial for the whole world to see. Robin quit her job as a software manager to keep up with the demand.
It's quite life-changing to, first of all, know how many kids are out there that are dealing with something quite extreme. And then it's also just been life-changing to see how a pretty simple piece of fabric can really change the perspective on what's going on.
That piece of simple fabric is important to 7-year-olds like one-of-a-kind Super Cameron.
Super Cameron is amazing. I love him.
He was adopted a few days after his birth, and then at age 2, doctors diagnosed him with restrictive cardiomyopathy, a fatal heart condition. Without a heart transplant, soon he'll die.
The issue is that they go into sudden cardiac death. So it's something where you have no warning. It just all of a sudden the heart stops.
He is now first on the transplant list, and that means carrying a pager at all times, ready and hopeful that it will bring good news.
Why is it going to beep?
Beep because they might have a heart.
Cameron is no doubt deserving of his superhero cape. One time during a 3-day hospital stay, doctors took 16 tubes of blood, but Cameron was concerned with normal kid stuff.
Every time the doctor comes in, I ask her, can I have a bicycle? Can I have a bicycle?
Those times in the hospital did make him think of what he wants to be when he grows up.
I want to be a doctor.
Why do you want to be a doctor?
Because I want to help other kids to be healthy.
Maybe helping others will come soon for Super Cameron, but right now he just can't do normal kid stuff. And that's why his cape is so important to him.
It helps with his confidence. Like when he's outside playing with his friends and they want to go play ball, he's like, hey, let's play superheroes, and I got a cape, and so we can do this and that. And it kind of keeps things localized, and it keeps things at his level and gives him some control over his life.
Cameron's family knows that ultimately God is in control of it all.
If we didn't believe that God was going to take us through this, then I don't know how we'd do it.
Cameron's mom set up a Facebook page called Psalm 147:3, the verse in the Bible about how God heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds.
It just seemed so fitting because Cameron's heart is broken and he's going to have to get a lot of wounds in order to fix his heart. So that verse just really spoke to me.
And as Cameron prayerfully waits for his new heart, he plays with his sidekick brother, Spencer, and he reads up on his Bible.
I got a huge Bible.
You got a huge Bible.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Cameron is busy raising some money for those hefty medical bills. $5 a piece for a Cameron's Hope bracelet.
Here you are, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The beauty behind the Tiny Superheroes effort is that this is not just about sewing capes. It's about self-esteem, empowerment, and working together with families to raise cash, awareness, and hopefully medical help for the kids.
These kids aren't sad and feeling sorry for themselves or weak in any way. They are more joyful and more strong and more brave than I ever was at their age with no health problems.
And now they've got their superhero cape ready to conquer the battles ahead. David Brody, CBN News in Seattle, Washington.
what a great ministry. Well, up next, a veteran nears the end of a 31-year-long journey that has taken him thousands of miles.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
And finally, this week marks National POW and MIA Day. On Friday, the country will remember soldiers captured or lost during war.
One veteran recognizes the day by completing his own mission, one that has taken him exactly 58,282 miles. Michael Bowen is steps away from reaching his goal. In 1982, he vowed to run 1 mile for every name carved on the Vietnam Memorial. The Flag Man, as he's called, battled cancer, knee surgeries during the journey. He earned that nickname because he carries the flag for POWs and those missing in action.
I have a little guilt complex because I didn't have to serve. I didn't get wounded. I was in during the war, but not in the war. I was in Germany. I got about 20 miles to go. It's almost hard to believe, but it's here. I'm happy. It's my own personal mission. It's almost over.
It has taken over 3 decades. On Friday, he will end his mission where it began, at the Vietnam Memorial. Bowen says he will continue to run and carry the flag with him. Wow, hats off to him. He's definitely doing a great thing there.
He's a hero, too, to be able to raise all that awareness and attention. So
most
good for
definitely,
him.
He is a hero.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Newswatch.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.